an addendum to the piece I wrote about the tragedy of the Jews. Talking to Irene, she stressed that one feature of Israel is that it hasn't separated politics from religion. It's basically a religious state. And in the modern world, where we try to believe that modernity is largely based on a secular state, as in the American dream, though of course it's not really the case in America to a large extent, in the British case, and in theory in the French case, religion is one thing, politics is another. Well, that view, by which we differentiate ourselves from authoritarian governments like Russia or China, where ideology and politics, religion of a sort and politics are mixed together and we consider them authoritarian. Well, obviously, if you look at particularly the far-right government of Israel now, no one could argue that it isn't a religious state. That observation leads to a wider theory. Basically, as an anthropologist, I have at the two poles of my conceptual framework tribal societies, where everything is mixed together. You don't have instituted spheres of religion, politics, economics and society, and you mix them all together in the tribe. The boundaries of the tribe are the boundaries of humanity. People outside that tribe are not humans. We, the Yanomamo, or we, the whoever, are humanity, and we live a total, as anthropologists put it, a total life within the bounds. So that is the one extreme of human existence after the long hunter-gatherer stage. The other extreme is my definition of modernity, which is a dream whereby you separate, theoretically, politics from religion, religion from economics, economics from society, and all of them. And so only the individual is a locus for all different spheres of activity. Now, taking those very crude, simple ends of the spectrum, one, I think, of the fascinating things about Israel, reading its history in the books of the Old Testament, Exodus, Isaiah, and so on, and then watching its evolution over the millennia, it is preserved there in the state of Israel, a tribe. And I'm not sure that many Israelis would object to that. The tribes of Israel, united and living there, are what went and left Egypt many millennia ago and have been reunited. And so we have, over the centuries, the preservation of something which is of a different order to the growingly separated worlds that emerged in Western Europe. And that leads to a situation where you have people who ultimately would like still to live as a united tribe, united by blood, by family, by land, by history, by religion. And in this day and age, it's very difficult to see how such a unit can survive. In other parts of the world, its tribes have disappeared in South America or Africa or elsewhere. But here we have one surviving, great, powerful, militarized, modern technology, but ultimately very simple tribal unit. And the question is how, for the protection of the world and for the protection of the Israeli people, you can create a unit where this tribe can exist. It existed within nation-states, within walls, in ghettos, but now it has its own state. It appears that unless one recognizes that this state is very, very different from any other state on this planet, as far as I can see, then it will be impossible to create it. The obvious implications are that in the very manifest desire of Netanyahu, for example, and his extreme right to rid Israel of all alien peoples, to settle it and expel the people of Amalek and destroy them, as Netanyahu put it, then that is comprehensible and understandable. If that's the aim, and if that is the only way in which this long tragedy would end, the world has to think, Israel has to think, how could you do that? Some form of two-state solution is the only way, and it will, at the extreme, involve partitioning and setting up two independent states. The problem, obviously, is that historically it's a mess of integration and half integration and split up bits and pieces. So how do you do that? But unless we address the problem, which is that is probably the only solution, that Israel has a bounded state in which you just have Jews. I mean, you can have guest workers, you can have various compromises, but fundamentally it is a Jewish state with no large alternative population within it. I can't see that unless you recognize that is going to be the only solution, we will get very far in these present troubles.